Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our live stream today. My name is Lucien Metellus, Junior General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and I have the distinct honor today to introduce you to one of our partners in this Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the founder of the Aura Leaf Foundation, and we just wanted to take a moment to talk about our dynamic partnership that we've had. This year, Alpha Phi Alpha is committed to investing $30,000 to eradicating the disease of cancer that takes too many of our Black and brown people at an alarming rate. And so from there, what we wanted to do today is just reintroduce you to this important partner of ours, let you know that Alpha Phi Alpha is here, ready to support cancer research in all forms. We have given a contribution to many organizations, but we wanted to start focusing on our own. And I wanted to just introduce to those of you that don't know, Dr. Hadea Green. Dr. Green, how are you today?
I'm well. Thank you, President Metellus. Thank you so much for having me. How are you today?
I am great. So a lot of people do know you, but a lot of people don't know you. So could you just introduce yourselves to those of you that don't know you? Tell your story and how we got here today.
Okay, awesome. So I'm Dr. Hadea Nicole Green, founder of the Aura Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation. My academic background, I'll share in the light of how I got into cancer research very briefly. I was raised by my aunt, Aura Lee Smith, and my uncle, her husband, General Lee Smith. And I was the first in my family to attend college on full scholarship at Alabama A&M University. I interned at NASA, University of Rochester Institute of Optics, and I was calibrating lasers for the International Space Station and working on the technology to make cable and internet faster. After serving as Miss Alabama A&M University as queen for a year and graduating with a 4.0 grade point average as a physics major, my aunt announced that she had what she referred to as woman's cancer and said that she would rather die than experience the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation. I was her primary caregiver the last 3 months of her life. And I watched her go from being the matriarch of our family, the cooker of Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner, the prayer warrior, the glue that held our family together, to someone who couldn't walk, to the point where she couldn't talk, where all she could do was moan and grunt. 3 months after she passed, my uncle who raised me was also diagnosed with cancer. I was also his primary caregiver as he lost 150 pounds, all of his hair, his eyelashes, his eyebrows, and his skin went from a beautiful chocolate like yours, President Metellus, to skin that looked barbecued. It was horrendous. So at 22 years old, I saw the horrors of cancer and the horrors of cancer care, cancer treatments, and I knew there had to be something better than this. So I dedicated my life and went on to get 2 more degrees in physics from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. I trained for 5 years in the Comprehensive Cancer Center and a year in the Department of Pathology at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. And I developed groundbreaking technology that now, years later, has been granted FDA breakthrough device status. The technology that I developed uses laser activated nanotherapy, and it has shown the ability to completely eliminate solid human tumors in laboratory mice after one single 10-minute treatment in the course of 15 days with no chemo, no radiation, no surgery, and no observable side effects. Yes, you heard me right. A 10-minute cancer treatment that's eliminating cancer in 15 days. The important part about this is that I started this 501c3 nonprofit named after my late aunt, the Aura Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, with the sole purpose of ensuring that this technology will be affordable and accessible for all, especially from our community, by raising the money that we need to move into human clinical trials and to get the FDA approval, by raising donations, sponsorships, partnerships, and staying away from investor funding. The reason why this is important is most people don't understand that the gap from an invention or a technology or a drug or anything to go into humans, that journey is usually funded by the pharmaceutical industry. And that is the reason why healthcare has become unaffordable in the United States. So I'm trying to solve multiple problems at once. And that's why this partnership is so important, because the grassroots movement of having partners like Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity to say, I stand with you to fill in the gap for our community, to fight for those who can't fight for themselves, to eliminate human suffering in the form of cancer patients who don't have other viable treatment options, to the tune of 10 million people dying a year from cancer. And I know there are a lot of us other cancer charities that people can choose to support. And I don't need to say anything disparaging about any of them. All I'm saying is that we have already gotten past the research stage. We already have a technology that demonstrates the ability to kill cancer. We need your support right now so we don't go through another year and another 10 million people who die from cancer. My auntie, your dad, your uncle, your mom, my cousin, my brother, like, we don't have to keep losing our loved ones to cancer. And I know that the members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, just like members of my sorority and our family, our communities, we've been suffering, and we can be the change that we want to see in our cancer outcomes in our community.
So from my perspective, this sounds really dynamic and amazing because, as you know, we're all going to be touched by cancer at some point in our lives, whether it's us directly or people that we love. I think that it's very important because I have had several relatives that have suffered from cancer, and I know the importance of the research that you're doing, that we lift the memory up for them. So part of that, as I mentioned earlier, was Alpha Phi Alpha's commitment. And I remember when you came to Alpha Phi Alpha many moons ago, almost 10 years ago, I feel like. And how did that relationship come about? And I think there's a story of familiarity in there as well.
Yes. So thank you for making sure that I am not remiss. I have several cousins, and James McFadden, may God rest his soul, is
Yes,
my first cousin on my dad's side. And he was a national pole mark. Help me if I'm getting sergeant
I
at
think he
arms.
was sergeant at arms. Yep. Yep.
Yes, he was a national
Wrong fraternity, but yes, sergeant at arms.
sergeant at arms. And James McFadden and my cousin out of St. Louis, Leon. I don't know what's Leon's last name. O'Hara, Leon O'Hara. Yeah, I always just call him cousin Leon. But Leon O'Hara out of St. Louis, out of the chapter where Marcus Creighton is in, they brought me to the fraternity when they found out what I was doing and said, you definitely should get the support of the fraternity. We support other organizations. Why not support you? So they helped sponsor my trip to the national convention in Vegas. And I was able to present to the board. I was able to secure a unanimous vote to establish the partnership. And that's how the journey began, with the support from Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity and Aura Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation partnership.
And that was under Everett Ward's administration as general president. And I know that you've been a partner with us for several years now. And as I said earlier, Alpha Phi Alpha is committed to that partnership. This year, we're donating $30,000 to the Aura Lee Foundation. And we want to make sure that every person and every brother that's on this stream now, we're asking every brother to give $3. If every brother in the fraternity gave $3 to help fight cancer, that would help get you to that next step in terms of research and getting FDA approval. So we're asking brothers as one of our partners to engage and really be active in this. And what words can you give? How does every dollar help from your perspective?
So that's a great question. And before I answer that, I just want to take one moment of privilege to acknowledge Dr. Everett Ward. He gave the first $10,000 check as the general president of Alpha Phi Alpha. And I did not want to be remiss in that acknowledgement, because that is significant. So people have been encouraging me over the years to do the math, right? The ultimate big picture is that this is $100 million endeavor that normally takes people 20 years to go from bench to bedside, to go from the laboratory to something that's approved in hospitals. And every $100 gets us 1 hour closer to starting with our first $10 million. And the reason why starting human trials is so important, that's the major first milestone, is that it separates us from all the failed drugs in the pharmaceutical industry that didn't translate well from the laboratory into humans. And once we can show that we can eliminate tumors in humans, it distinguishes us from basic research to now we're a true clinical trial. And here is the exciting part. The FDA has been meeting with us, and with the breakthrough device status, they've put us on this fast track program. And that fast track program, in that fast track program, they have agreed to a pig study and then a very brief roadmap to a first in human study. We are on the brink of starting our first in human study within a year of getting to our first $10 million goal. We're almost at $3.5 million now. It seems like it's far away, but it's not, right? So every $3, every $100 gets us a few minutes closer. Like every $100 gets us an hour closer. So every $3 gets us a few minutes closer to our goal, right? And instead of this taking 20 years and me having to write grants for 20 years and building an entire career, I believe that there are other people who don't want to keep waiting on this technology to reach humans, right? People need this now. 10 million people on average every year worldwide are dying from cancer. So your dollars matter today more than they will 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Like, help us get started today. I have had so many interviews go viral with Roland Martin, Karen Hunter, Ricky Smiley, BET Awards, and all this. And people say, well, I just knew some celebrity was going to support you or some millionaire was going to support you, and I didn't donate. And now I need your help. Or now my mom needs your help. Can you take it? And we have to go through the official legitimate channels. So this can be an official government section treatment offered and available at the hospitals, endorsed by the American Medical Association and covered by insurance, Medicaid, and Medicare. There are proper channels and proper protocols that we have to follow. And with that said, every dollar gets us one step closer, 1 minute closer, 1 day closer to starting this treatment in human trials. The reason for urgency is we don't know when cancer is going to come to our doorstep. And the longer it takes me to get started, the longer it takes me to be able to help our loved ones. So we are on the brink now, and I've done everything in the background, including getting some funding and another $1 million grant from the Department of Veteran Affairs. So your support literally helps us get, it's that boost, the wind beneath our wings to get us to that start goal of beginning human clinical trials. That's why the donations matter right now.
And so as we come to a close, you know, if we're asking for money, sometimes you need to bring the muscle in. So I'm going to bring the heavy muscle in, and that's Brother Marcus Creighton out of St. Louis. So if we can elevate Brother Creighton, I want to welcome Brother Creighton to the conversation, because there is a link in. People have been asking in the chat, where's the link? Where's the link? There's been a link been posted, but I'm going to let Brother Creighton take over and make sure that the brothers hear directly. And Brothers of Alpha, we will have a direct one-on-one, if you want to call it, town hall with Dr. Green in the spring. But we wanted to just, before we close the December, wanted to bring you the news of Alpha Phi Alpha's continued commitment to the partnership. Brother Creighton, I'll turn it over to you to be the muscle tonight before we take off. Brother Creighton.
Thank you, Brother General President Metellus. Dr. Green, how you doing?
Oh, well,
all right. I just want to, you guys have done a fantastic job. And yes, I was there day one when we had that conversation. And after the meeting we had with her cousin, I actually had a conversation with Dr. Green for over 3 hours. I mean, yes. As you mentioned earlier, I had the skeptical hat on and I grilled her every single way. And she answered every question I had with flying colors. And that gave me the confidence to reach out to the higher ups in our organization. And as she mentioned, it led to an actual unanimous vote. But anyway, for anybody out there who if you're a cancer survivor, if you've had a family member who's suffered from cancer, my father passed from pancreatic cancer, or if you just know somebody, what I want you to do for this holiday season, as you enjoy your Christmas and New Year's, make sure you share her message and her website. The $3 contribution is kind of a match that we as brothers are doing for the general organization. But in order to get her across that finish line as fast as possible, it's going to take the $3 from a whole lot of people. So not only feel free to give your contribution, the minimum $3, but just tell every single person that you know about her, what she's got going on, what she's doing. That's how we get her across the finish line in record time. And the reason I'm so passionate, because I know the life I saved could be my own. Okay. So there's no time to waste. We need to get this done yesterday. The only other thing I'll say is in early spring, brothers, be on the lookout. We have a couple of things lined up that we are about to roll out. And so be on the lookout from the fraternity standpoint. We're going to build our partnership. And when the good general president was elected, he gave me his word. He said she will be a priority under my presidency and administration. So that I appreciate you for that, and look forward to things to come early next year.
Thank you so much.
And as we close, and before I give the last word to Dr. Green, I want to remind my brothers, you can donate directly by going to oralee.org/alphas, ALPHAS. I want to make sure that you all donate on behalf of Alpha. So ORALEE.org/alphas. And I will turn it over to you, Dr. Green, for the last word, and then I will close us out. Thank you again, Dr. Green, for sharing some time with us.
President Metellus, I just want to say with my whole heart, thank you so much for being a man of your word, for your leadership, and taking this and making this a priority under your presidency. Brother Creighton, thank you so much for being our national champion and liaison. Under your leadership, we've gone through several general presidents, and I appreciate your steadfast and commitment. And to every brother out here and every person on the World Wide Web who hears this, please take action now. For almost 9 years, people have been seeing me and rooting for me and cheering for me and celebrating me, praying for me and giving me advice. And I appreciate that. And all of that matters. But what we need right now, we need volunteers and we need donations. We need introductions to corporate sponsors and partners. We need people to open doors to help us get some bigger grants and awards. But specifically, do what you can right now and donate at least $3 at oralee.org/alphas. Thank you all so very much. God bless you all.
And for those of you on the live stream and those of you that might see this again on the recording, Alpha Phi Alpha's mission statement hasn't changed. We still develop leaders, promote brotherhood and academic excellence while providing service and advocacy for our community. There is no greater advocacy for those that are suffering from cancer. If Alpha Phi Alpha can be an advocate for that, then we can do great things together. So for all those online and all those within the sound of my voice, you have a blessed night, and I look forward to engaging you again through this medium. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.